Welcome to Winston-Salem, North Carolina and Lawrence Joel Coliseum as conference play is underway in ACC women's basketball. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons welcome in the league's highest scoring team, the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm Jen Hildreth alongside former Clemson Tiger Kelly Gramlich. And Kelly, we have some big time preseason all ACC players in this matchup.
We are in for a treat tonight, Jen. Two of the best players in the ACC. Let's start with Janelle Bailey. She is a double-double machine for the Tar Heels. In her first ever game versus Wake Forest back in 2018, she had 30 points. Since then, she has struggled against her in-state rival in Wake Forest, one of the many rivals for North Carolina, but Janelle Bailey can do it all. And they're going to need a big game from her tonight. The Tar Heels are on the road in Winston-Salem. And then Ivana Ratza, one of the best players in the Atlantic Coast Conference as well. You look at what she's done, 20 and 9. She's averaging 20 points, 9 boards. She can score from all three levels. She is definitely the player to watch for Wake Forest.
Yeah, she had a huge game in the last meeting, the ACC tournament, one that was won by Wake Forest. In fact, the Demon Deacons won both games last year against North Carolina, 4 of the last 6, despite North Carolina all-time and early on in this series really dominating between the two teams. So making things interesting for this conference opener for both teams in 2020. A lot of new faces along that North Carolina sideline in particular. Courtney Banghart is in her second season as the North Carolina head coach, and around her 7 newcomers to give this team quite a different look for this conference season as we get going. And on the other side for Wake Forest, a bit of a different story for Jen Hoover. She returns 4 starters, so players that come into this matchup with a ton of confidence, knowing they can take down their in-state rivals. Janelle Bailey, as you talked about, such a big presence in the paint for North Carolina. Struggled in that ACC tournament game. She'd been out with injury, and Ratza just went off. Her career day. Tar Heels will get the tip, start off with the ball.
That's right. Janelle Bailey is going to be ready to go in this one. Some of her lackluster performances recently against the Deacs. I think she's motivated in this game.
You tend to remember those things, don't you? This is Stephanie Watts. Great to see her back in a North Carolina uniform. Quite an odyssey that has brought her back to Chapel Hill. Petra Holoshinska got the rebound, got it over to Watts. She said plenty of familiar faces in that Wake starting 5. Conti, Ratza, Mora, Scruggs all started last year. Add in the freshman Jewel Spear. Off the glass and in for the first bucket of the game is Mora. For North Carolina, Holoshinska, Watts, Deja Kelly, Anya Poole. Those are the new ones you might not know yet. You will soon enough to go along with Bailey.
North Carolina just ran a high-low play to Stephanie Watts inside. You don't see that every day. Watts has good size, but kind of curious as they're running her on the block in that high-low action.
Jump ball. Deja Kelly getting involved. She's going to be fun. I know you got to see and call North Carolina's last game against Charlotte. Kelly got to see Deja Kelly.
Deja Kelly is a special talent. There's no doubt about it. Her coach was talking about, in that Charlotte game, she had 8 turnovers, and she was trying to force things in transition. I thought Courtney Banghart told us a great tidbit about Deja Kelly. She's telling her, look, one less dribble. When you're leading the break, as we see a Wake Forest turnover there, one less dribble. Get the pass out quicker. It's the college level. You've got to make decisions quicker. Let's focus on her tonight and see if she can do that, especially in transition for the Heels.
You latched on to that. You like that. One less dribble to kind of keep things under control, and we heard that. Tar Heels come in averaging 92 points per game. Now it is early. We know a lot of difference between the types of competition teams have played. Think about Wake Forest, for example, a team that's played 2 ranked opponents already has a win against the top 25.
And North Carolina not taking the best shots early offensively, forcing some shots, forcing some threes. See if they can have a little better shot selection next time down the floor.
Radza.
That's a good shot by Radza. That will fall for Ivana Radza, who we know can score at all three levels. And there's Janelle Bailey. What a move. Strong one dribble to her right. I love Janelle Bailey's strength. Her strength combined with her touch inside is hard to beat.
Yeah, a little more lightness and quickness for Bailey as she put in some work, kind of trimmed up her body in the offseason.
Exactly right, Jen. That's huge. And she lost over 25 pounds in the offseason. It was a conversation that Bailey and Coach Banghart had, and they mutually agreed that if Bailey lost some weight, she'd be able to get up and down the floor quicker and play that quick style that UNC wants to play. And for Janelle Bailey's future. Bailey wants to be a pro. And so if she can get up and down the floor quicker, that's going to help her at the next level.
Carolina in the half court. Watts behind the back. Take it herself off the glass and in.
What a move by Stephanie Watts behind the back, finish with the left hand. That is a veteran move from the fifth-year senior.
Conti really worked a lot on her jump shot. Jen Hoover telling us she's always been a pass-first type of point guard, but knows she needs to score as well. Quickly the other way. Oleshinska shooting 50% from three-point range. Can't get that one to go.
And you'll notice UNC taking some quick shots, especially threes, but they shoot 40% as a team, so they are a very good three-point shooting team, and they want to get those shots up because they believe they'll eventually fall.
Conti good for two.
It's a great move by Gina Conti. Watch this matchup. Right now, Deja Kelly with the ball. Kelly versus Conti. Kelly's a McDonald's All-American, but she's a true freshman. Gina Conti didn't have a bunch of stars coming out of high school, but she is a senior who has played a lot of college basketball.
Yeah, we give her some stars now after what we've seen her do. Such a tough player for sure. She's going to take it herself on cue. Fouled by Watts on her way to the basket.
Let's take another look here at Gina Conti. Nice pull-up, beautiful mid-range, takes what the defense gives her right there at that ACC logo. Keep an eye on Conti specifically, Jim, with her eyes. On that play specifically, she was looking to the right wing, but crossed over left, and that's something Deja Kelly has to be aware of. Conti loves to use her eyes with misdirection to keep her defender on her toes, and that was her first free throw miss of the season. You can't say it was announcer jinx, Jen, because neither of us jinxed her.
That one's not on us, but she had been a perfect 21 of 21 from the free throw line, best in the country before that miss. So that was a little surprising. Good work on the interior. North Carolina getting some work off the glass from Anya Poole.
North Carolina applying some three-quarter court pressure off of a make. Just kind of token pressure to make Wake Forest uncomfortable. It doesn't look like they're really trying to go for a steal, but they are trying to make Wake Forest think twice about setting up their offense in the half court.
7 on the shot clock for Radza.
That's a forced shot by Radza. She's trying to get going early, but they can get a better shot than that in the half court.
And look at the Tar Heels running. It is once again Anya Poole, the freshman out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
And when you have a bad miss like Radza there, not only, of course, does it end your possession, but UNC, because they're so good in transition, they get that ball and they go.
Jewel Spear hands it off to Mora. Jump ball the call as Mora got into it a little bit there with Anya Poole. And we'll take a quick timeout as well. North Carolina up 3 on the road.
It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
I'm not giving up, no, not me. I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me.
During these challenging times, ESPN and the V Foundation's fight against cancer has not stopped. If you're able, please support cancer research by visiting v.org/donate. v.org/donate. 100% of what you give goes to cancer research. Wake Forest playing its first game on its home floor at the Jewel this season. Scruggs, who missed the last game due to COVID protocol, back in the lineup. Sophomore for the Demon Deacons.
Wake is definitely glad to have Scruggs back. She brings more toughness and rebounding from the guard position, and she can shoot three. Good pass as well from Scruggs.
Got it right into Mora. Around and out, though, for the junior from Toronto, Ontario. Bailey calling for it, gets it. A lot of contact, offensive foul.
And Jen, I don't even put that on Janelle Bailey. That's on Deja Kelly. She's got to see that help side defender that was right there, ready to take that charge on Bailey. Bailey didn't see her. Bailey had her back turned. Deja Kelly, I know she's only a freshman, but she's already in help side. Deja Kelly has to help her post out and not make that pass. And that's a great play by Jewel Spear, another freshman who took the charge.
Conti had it tapped away. Watts dishes it off right at the last minute. Nice finish by Kelly.
Beautiful pass by Stephanie Watts. Did a great job of keeping the ball long enough to draw that defender and then dish it off just at the right time.
Spear. Ratza looking for her first points. Won't get him there.
Excellent attack by Spear and a good fill by Ratza. She'll knock that down at some point in this game, and great job by Stephanie Watts. She drew the defender, kept her eyes towards the basket, not on her teammate. That's a veteran play by a savvy player who, Jen, we joke, she's been in the league for decades, it seems like.
Doesn't seem like a long time. Watts from Wesley Chapel, North Carolina, started her career with the Tar Heels. Was there from 2015 to 2019. Was a 2016 ACC Freshman of the Year. Did miss 1 year during that time due to injury. Then she transferred to USC last season, just played 4 games, was injured, received a waiver from the NCAA to come back, and here she is, back, transferred into North Carolina.
It's a very cool story, and you know, North Carolina's very glad to have her. She calms everyone down out there on the floor with her experience, and she's a great athlete, great basketball player, makes good decisions for the Tar Heels.
Oleshinska, grad transfer out of the Czech Republic. Still scoreless, averages 13.2 points per game, actually leads the Tar Heels. It is a very balanced scoring effort so far by this North Carolina team. Bailey into the double team. It's a jump ball.
Here's more about Steph Watts, Jen, as you were alluding to. She has been in the ACC for a long time. 2015 North Carolina Gatorade High School Player of the Year. So that takes you back to her recruiting class, and then played at UNC.
Yeah, that's why we say we feel like we called her name for a while. We missed out last year when she went over into the Pac-12, but that injury, who knows? Divine Providence brought her back to finish things off in Chapel Hill.
And I'm glad to see her back. This North Carolina team needed experience. Coach Banghart talks about how many new players she has. She has a lot of freshmen. She's trying to rebuild, or at least build back this program into a national contender. And so you always want to mix those talented freshmen with some really good players that have been around for a while.
Yeah. 5 freshmen, 2 transfers, making up to 7 newcomers on this North Carolina team. And really the only player who played significant minutes on this roster last year in the starting 5 is Bailey. Lou Chitenge, who comes off the bench. Remember the all-freshman team a year ago. Mora just nowhere to go. 5 on the shot clock. Connie will take it.
It was an excellent job by Deja Kelly on that play to come down and double Christina Mora, so she had to kick the ball out and didn't have any options inside.
Bailey.
That's what they want, one-on-one inside with Janelle Bailey, but what a play. Christina Mora holding her own with the block.
Scruggs fouled on her way to the basket. That will be against Watts. That's her second.
Take another look at this play from Mora inside. My first thought was Janelle Bailey has great position. She's got a one-on-one matchup. Mora was a little out of position, but heck of a recovery, really athletic play inside. It is not an easy task anytime you have to defend Janelle Bailey one-on-one in the post. It is not for the faint of heart, Jen.
Wake Forest just one field goal in the last 7 minutes. Struggled to find anything on this offensive end. Low scoring quarter. They get the steal. Give it right back though. Up and over the front of the rim. It is good from Alyssa Usby, a 6'1" freshman out of Rochester, Minnesota.
Usby is a player to keep an eye on. She does so many things well for North Carolina, but that was another example, Jen, right there in transition, where Deja Kelly took one too many dribbles and made a pass that just wasn't there. But Usby, great job recovering and making that play worth something for Carolina.
10 of North Carolina's 12 points coming into paint. They're on an 8-0 run. Could add to that here. Oleshinska, the transfer out of Illinois, led Fighting Illini in scoring last year, is fouled.
Oleshinska can shoot the rock. 50% from three so far this season, 14 of 28 from beyond the arc. Most of the time when you see someone shooting 50%, they're 2 for 4. But 14 of 28, very impressive.
Yeah, that's where you definitely have to make sure you look at all the numbers. Great movement there. A nice look for Usby to finish.
Usby is a star. I know she was not rated as highly as some of these other players, but Alyssa Usby is a flat-out star in the making for North Carolina. I love her game.
10-0 run by the Tar Heels. The Deacs a little slow to get going in their home opener. There's a couple more points.
Wake Forest needed that basket heading into this quarter break. Needed it badly.
Final seconds ticking off.
Deja Kelly by Mora. That was big.
So just 7 points in the first quarter for Wake Forest. They trail North Carolina by 7 after 1. Coming up next, number 20, Syracuse is in Miami to take on the 3-0 Hurricanes right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Doubleheader for you of some conference games as a lot of teams opening up conference play last night and tonight. Always appreciate the effort that goes into the cardboard or video screen fans in the arenas.
No doubt about it. We know Wake Forest, they're having about 80 fans tonight. I believe it's 2 tickets per player, coach, staff, all that. So really just family and friends. But it's nice to have a few people in the stands, and I know a lot of schools aren't doing any, so, and that's of course a fine decision as well, but it is cool to have a few people in the stands.
All right, Kelly, what are you looking for here for Wake Forest? Just 7 points in that first quarter. Ratza yet to score for the Deacs.
I feel like Wake has allowed North Carolina's pace to speed them up. Wake is much more of a half-court team. They want to run good offense. They want to get the ball into Ratza. They want to run their horn set and let Ratza go one-on-one. But because North Carolina has played so fast, which is what they do, and that's what they're supposed to do with their depth and their athleticism, Wake Forest has kind of been tricked into doing that as well. So I think Wake needs to stick to their own pace, their own game, their own identity in the second quarter.
North Carolina, every point has come into paint so far. Try to add on a couple more and can't. That was Kennedy Todd Williams. She'll get it again. Working around Mora. Boy, look at Todd Williams just fighting for the rebound. And I mean, this was an area where Wake Forest just torched North Carolina in that ACC tournament matchup. And Jen Hoover told us, she said, you can bet North Carolina has had that emphasized as they came into this game working the glass.
No doubt about it. And Kennedy Todd Williams is a player that Coach Banghart absolutely loves. A freshman who also was outside the top 100. So keep an eye on Todd Williams and Ustby, who were outside of the top 100, as you can see on our lovely graphic here. UNC had a great recruiting class. Deja Kelly, Anya Poole, Alexandra Salaya are all great players. Todd Williams and Ustby also making their mark. Ustby has made it clear that she wants to prove that she, no matter, even though she is the lowest rated player of the group, She wants to prove that she's going to have an impact at Carolina, and she has so far.
Yeah, I love the story that you told in the last broadcast, and also that Coach Banghart told us this week about Usby. It said she was the lowest ranked recruit in this class for North Carolina, and she wrote that on her whiteboard. She decided to use that as motivation.
I love it. She plays with a chip on her shoulder. Both her and Todd Williams, they definitely play with that chip on the shoulder, and that's why they were the first 2 players off the bench for North Carolina in this game.
Deep in the shot clock again for the Deek. Spear takes it too strong. Rotza couldn't hang on to it. It'll go to North Carolina.
Rotza is battling. She really is, but North Carolina has done a great job on her defensively, not letting her get good looks. She's trying to get second chance points, rebounding, but they have been very physical with her. And we know Wake Forest, is very much a 2-man game team. They play through Rotza, they play through Conti. Will a third player emerge for Wake tonight? That's something that needs to happen, I think, for the Deeks to win.
Conti moving with some pace. She can really get this Demon Deacon team going. She is fouled.
Always a good sign for Wake when Gina Conti is heading to the free throw line. She's one of the best free throw shooters in the ACC. I know she finally missed one earlier in this game, but again, no announcer jinx, so it's not our fault. But coming into the game, she was a perfect 21 for 21 from the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, talk about automatic. And that's a place that both of these teams, Kelly, have gotten a lot of their points is from the free throw line in the game so far. And you see Conti and Rotza, what they have done by average points per game, the best duo in the ACC so far.
It's very impressive to see what these 2 Deeks have done and how they can score the ball. And they're going to have to score in high numbers tonight. I think both of them have to score at least 15. And Conti's gotten off to a quicker start than Rotza, but Wake relies on that duo so much. But can Mora, can Jewel Spear, the freshman, can they give them a few points as well? Because North Carolina, even though 16, it's kind of below UNC's average for a first quarter, we know UNC can light it up offensively.
I know. I think you take a lot of these early season statistics with a grain of salt because North Carolina absolutely walloped their first couple of opponents. Closer game against Charlotte. In fact, both of these teams played tight games against Charlotte in their last games. Trying to get them ready for conference play.
Charlotte's a good team. They also challenged Clemson. They played 3 straight ACC games, so they've played a tougher schedule than most ACC teams to date. I will say I think Wake Forest definitely challenged themselves more in the non-conference, so I thought that would translate early in this game, but Wake still off to a slow start. Trying to get Rotza the ball. They have 2 players around her. Now they're bringing more. They're hedging down. Every time Rotza takes a dribble, she just has no daylight around her.
Yeah, that's been impressive. I mean, North Carolina, you talk about their scoring, but their defense has also been pretty good, and you can see what they're doing, just swarming Rotza, as you said.
If you hold Rotza under 12, you have, I don't care who you are, whether you're North Carolina, whether you're any opponent, you have a very good chance of beating Wake. And everyone knows that coming in here. Jen Hoover knows that Rotza does so much for them. So UNC has done a good job of making her life tough so far in this contest.
Olashinska drives to the basket, not just a three-point shooter, Kelly Graham.
What a tough shot right there. You got to keep the defense honest every once in a while, Jen. Look, 3s are worth more than 2, and 3s are better. We all know that, but you got to keep the defense honest, and a great drive by Holashinska to finish a high level of difficulty on that attack.
More turnovers than field goals so far in this game for Wake Forest. Offense a little slow to get going against this Tar Heel D.
They're playing fast. That's the issue that I've seen with Wake, and they're packing it in on Rotza. But look at this shot from Holashinska. Look at the high level of difficulty. Just threw it up there with the right hand. Tough shot, but that's going to create more open looks for her from 3 because you have to respect that drive. If she's going to hit one on you there early in the game, you've got to respect it, and we'll see if she gets more open looks from beyond the arc.
Tar Heels turn it over. Give Wake Forest a chance to get set.
I think if you're Wake here, Jen, Run something for Gina Conti. Obviously, they're packing it in. They're trying to stop Ratza. Get Gina Conti going, and maybe that will get the rest of the team going.
Yeah, Conti's gotten to the free throw line a couple of times. It's Mora. It's an offensive foul, though. Back the ball goes to the Tar Heels.
She lowered the shoulder. Officials love to call when a player lowers the shoulder. You see the left shoulder right into, I believe that was Anya Poole, and they're going to call that almost every time.
A little bit of pressure here from Wake Forest.
Wake taking a page out of UNC's playbook, applying a little three-quarter court pressure. North Carolina's been doing that since they were making shots. They were doing that on the make in the first quarter.
Watts had it taken away by Conti. Been the best on this Wake Forest team in both assists and steals the last 2 years. Turns that into 2.
That's one way to get Conti going, Jen. I said Conti had to get going, but Conti can create her own offense right there. That was all her.
Oleshinska won't go. So Wake
I know
got to continue to build.
I know she has the green light, okay, but that is just not the shot you need to take in that scenario. They were trapping her in the lane, so make a pass out of that. I'm always a fan of a shooter putting up shots, but in that situation, make the extra pass and the ball will most likely get back around to you.
You can see neither team has had any success from outside the arc yet in this
my
game.
heart, Jen. Hurts my heart. We got to see it made 3 soon.
It'll come, Kelly. At some point, I feel certain. Well, that was an area that Wake Forest did struggle against Charlotte as well. North Carolina, meanwhile, has been pretty good from downtown. Mora tries to track it down, can't keep it in. Or not Mora, excuse me, that's Olivia Sumiel, the 6'2 sophomore for the Demon Deacons.
Sumiel is a rebounding machine. 8 rebounds per game, and you can see it with the hustle she just displayed. She is in there to grab boards. That is what she does.
The workhorse, as she was called by Jen Hoover. Now the takeaway, Jewel Spear passes it off. That was another freshman, Nevaeh Brown, fouled on the attempt.
Freshman to freshman there in transition, and Brown knows she should have made that layup. Some contact, she'll get some free throws. That's always a positive, but Wake would have loved to have a 3-point play opportunity.
4 undefeated teams highlight our women's basketball triple header on Sunday on ACC Network and the ESPN app. We'll start in Pittsburgh. The Panthers hosting Clemson at noon. Then 4th-ranked NC State takes on Boston College up in Chestnut Hill. And we cap the afternoon with this North Carolina team and number 2 Louisville. Not a lot of warm-up time for any of these teams to get right into conference play, with the schedule expanding to 20 conference games this season.
Great offense there by North Carolina. Get the ball to the middle, find the open shooter. It's a good pass by Janelle Bailey, and North Carolina just continues to be tenacious on the boards.
That was Malu Chitenge fighting for the rebound, but called for the foul, and we'll take a break.
4 teams, 2 semifinals. New Year's Day, the College Football Playoff lives on ESPN.
On that last play, before we went to break, see Ratza right there in the center. Chitenge right here will make some contact with her, and she went down after that play, but good to see. We did notice she was back up in the huddle. And Ratza, one of the top scorers in the ACC this season, averaging over 20 points per game. But, man, that Tar Heel defense has kept her scoreless so far tonight, Kelly.
Give all the credit to the UNC defense. I think they've had a great plan. They've packed it in. Every time she touches the ball, multiple guards are digging in on her to make it very difficult. But coming into this game, Jen, like you said, she is one of the most dynamic scorers in the ACC. So I don't feel like she'll be held scoreless for long.
Ratza on the bench at the moment. This is Brown. She'll pull up. Demon Deacons really struggling, shooting under 25% from the floor for the game.
And Jen, the Deacons in general, they only shoot 30% from three. So that's really been North Carolina's plan from what I've seen is we're going to pack it in and dare Wake to shoot. And it has worked so far because, as you mentioned, the Deeks have struggled from beyond the arc. Great rebound by Gina Conti.
Hey, she can do it all now. She's a tough point guard for the Demon Deacons. We know she can set her teammates up. She can get some steals. Give her a couple rebounds, too.
Every coach loves a rebounding point guard. If you can find a point guard that can rebound even with smaller size, they love it.
Anaya Horde, the sophomore out of France, off the bench, gets a couple of points to pull Wake Forest within 3. I mean, that's the thing. As much as you might think North Carolina would be dominating this the way that Wake Forest has shot on the offensive end, they haven't hit any from outside either, so still just a 3-point game. Kelly finally changes that first triple of the game. There you go, Kelly Gramlich.
You did it, Jen. You did it. And you're right. The scoreboard, it feels like UNC should be up by a lot more than they are on the scoreboard. And credit to Wake Forest for hanging in there in this quarter. Wake has played pretty well on the defensive end, but offensively, a lot of their struggles are without Ratza. But they have to find a way to shoot the ball better. And like I said, play through Conti.
North Carolina will go fairly deep onto its bench. Ariel Young, number 11, in the game as well now for the Tar Heels. And there's a long 2 for Janelle Bailey.
Almost a 3-foot on the line, but that is something that Janelle Bailey has added to her game as North Carolina's now trapping in their 3-quarter court pressure. Great havoc that they're wreaking on the defensive end. And it's tough, Jim, when you're trapping with players like Janelle Bailey, who has great size, and Malucha Tingay, you're trapping with these players that just have great wingspans and great size. And there's another look. Toe on the line, Jen, so it counts for 2.
I know how you feel about those, Kelly.
Oh, long 2.
No.
Get him out. Get him out.
Just
but
step
in
back.
that situation, she's trying to shoot a 3. So I give her more credit because she's trying, just had the toes a little too far up.
Ratza back, but stuffed by the Tar Heel defense. Comes Young. A lot of contact in the paint there.
I believe they're calling an over-the-back call on Janelle Bailey. I'm not sure about that. I think Mora sold it a little, which we all know is part of basketball, but I felt like that was a clean tip inside by Bailey.
Bailey with that foul will go to the bench.
Much better than the Charlotte game, Jen, when Janelle Bailey had 2 fouls early and had to sit out for most of the first and in the beginning of the second quarter. So UNC has benefited from having Janelle Bailey for pretty much this whole first half.
Saturday college football triple header on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Louisville hosts Wake Forest at noon, then Duke takes on Florida State. We cap things off with our ACC Network primetime matchup presented by Geico. It's the Commonwealth Cup, Virginia and Virginia Tech. Well, you're never quite sure what is going to happen once you get into conference play. I'm not sure anybody would have predicted a game this low scoring so far, especially for a North Carolina team that had really been clicking offensively coming into this matchup. But I think both teams will have a lot to talk about at halftime. Mora worked hard for those 2.
Tough shot. Holoshinska came over and doubled Mora. Good help side, but Mora just strong inside, finding a way to score. And Wake in this game, Jen, and Ratza still with no points. That's impressive.
Anya Poole was 6 for North Carolina.
This 3-quarter court pressure has been a good decision for UNC. I just don't think Wake Forest has been able to settle into their half court. Even like you can see there, it's really just token pressure, but Wake is just getting into their offensive set with 12 seconds left in the shot clock.
Ratza, no.
3 blue
More.
jerseys around her.
And that's what it's been, hasn't it, all game long?
They have sold out to stop Ratza, and it has worked. It's what you have to do against Wake Forest, is make the other players beat you. And every time Ratza touches the ball, there are at least 2, most of the time 3, baby blue jerseys just all over her.
We'll see if Ratza and Wake Forest can get something going in the second half. Mora will try to add on a couple from the free throw line.
And Jen, we know this with Jen Hoover. She is an excellent coach, a great tactician, and I'm intrigued to see what adjustments she makes at halftime. They used Ratza a lot in their tournament earlier in the year in a horn set, which means having Ratza up near the high post. Let's see if they adjust and try to use her more that way offensively in the second half.
Now, certainly the onus is on Wake Forest right now and Jen Hoover to try to figure something out, because she knows she needs Ratza. Can't have a big goose egg for Ratza and likely get the win. Kelly, clock ticking down. Holoshinska at the buzzer, won't go. So it is the lowest scoring first half of the season for North Carolina, but the Tar Heels lead Wake Forest by 6. We're going to send it now to the studio. Dallin Cuff, Jordan Cornett will catch you up on all the news around the ACC. 25-19 our score in Winston-Salem. Welcome back to Winston-Salem. North Carolina leading Wake Forest 25-19 after a pretty low-scoring first half for both teams. Jen Hildreth, Kelly Graham. Here's how we got here, Kelly. It was really a fairly dominant effort by the Tar Heels in the paint. One of the big differences so far in this one.
Oh, no doubt. North Carolina has dominated this game in the paint. A lot of those points coming in transition. They've been able to get out and run. UNC showing their depth. 7 different players have scored. Wake Forest has stayed in this game really from the free throw line. And Gina Conti is one of the main reasons why Wake is still within shooting distance here, down 6 at the half, excuse me. Gina Conti, 7 points. She's gotten to the free throw line, but Ratza has not been able to get going, Jen, and that is the main issue for the Deacs.
Yeah, Ivana Ratza averaging 20 points per game. One of the top scorers in the league. She's also the leading rebounder for the Demon Deacons. I know we've talked a lot about it, and you've given a lot of credit. That is well-deserved to North Carolina's defense. But what do you think Ratza is thinking? What do you think she's going to be trying here in the second half?
Knowing what I know about Ratza is a fiery competitor. Jen Hoover calls her fiery Serbian. And this is a player, of course, who's from Serbia, trained with the Serbian national team during COVID times when she went back home. So she had some excellent training in the off season here. But I think she's fired up because she knows her team needs her to get back in this game. And like I said before half, I'd love to see them pull Ratza out of the paint a little bit so she can have a little more room to operate, because when she gets the ball in the paint, North Carolina is doubling and tripling her and making her life tough right now.
North Carolina looks to have same starting 5 as they started the game with, out on the floor to start the second half. Foul on the floor as Deja Kelly was heading toward the basket.
And Jen, if I'm North Carolina, keep doing what you're doing. Get up and down, right? You're quicker, you're more athletic, you have more depth, but also Wake cannot guard Janelle Bailey. Very few people can. So find a way to get Bailey a little more involved. And there's a great pass from Janelle Bailey, excellent high-low, but run through Bailey as they did right there, and I think good things are going to happen for the Tar Heels.
Mora was calling for it. Spear took it instead. Ratza trying to fight for the rebound. Scruggs gets it and puts it in.
Ratza keeping that ball alive. Good job by Scruggs. Right place, right time. And then Wake Forest continuing with this 3/4 court pressure, trying to force some turnovers. But you gotta be better guarding the ball than that. If UNC can just get right through and weave through that 3/4 court pressure, it's not really effective.
Pretty high expectations for both of these teams. Of course, it's early in the season. You're allowed to be optimistic still this early as you're just starting conference play. Mora picks up the foul there. That is her third. So that's going to be something to watch for. Christina Mora, one of the best post-presence players for Wake Forest.
And really one of the players that can attempt to guard Bailey is Christina Mora. So looks like Coach Hoover's going to leave Mora out there because she knows she needs her to guard Bailey, but Mora has to be smart playing with those 3 fouls.
Yeah, and it looks like, forgive me, that may just be her second as Ratza takes it away and has her first points of the night. See if that changes things for Wake Forest.
That does explain, Jen, why Mora's still in the game, because she only has 2 fouls, so that makes a lot of sense. But let's see if that can get Ratza going. Sometimes as a great player, you just need to see that ball go through the net. So maybe Ratza can get going for Wake in this third quarter, which they desperately need.
She's good on the boards too, Ratza. You just saw her pull down that rebound. She had 6 rebounds in the first half, despite not scoring.
She is always going to rebound, and she has improved her ability to rebound throughout her career. She's gotten tougher, she's gotten stronger, and she has become quite the tenacious rebounder.
Takeaway. Deeks trying to get some points in transition. Freshman Jewel Spear out of the Colony, Texas. Highest ranked recruit in this class for Jen Hoover. Scruggs all the way to the rim and in.
Wake Forest on a run in North Carolina. Feels like they need a timeout. Great response by Wake to start the second half.
Ratza got going a little bit. Scruggs added a couple more. We've got a 2-point game in Winston-Salem.
Coach, how did you know? Of course we picked the same person. I'm saying Ivana Ratza. She is smooth. I think she's going to average up there 18, 19 points per game. And Wake is going to rely on her. They're going to run that offense through her.
All right, I see you putting it out there, Kelly. You thought Ratza, you and Muffet McGraw both thinking Ratza would lead the league in scoring. You to stand by that?
Well, I stand by anything that Muffet agrees with me on. So if Coach McGraw agrees with me on something, then I'm definitely going to stand by it. I predicted that Ratza would lead the league in scoring. Right now, I believe it's Morgan Jones from Florida State. And of course, Dana Evans is up there as well. Slow start for Ratza, but she's really been able to score a little more in this third quarter. And no coincidence, Jen. Ratza scores well and plays well. Wake goes on a little run.
6-0 run by the Deeks to pull them within 2. Poole had 6 points in the first half.
That was a mismatch down low. Mouse in the house. Gina Conti guarding Anya Poole, and Poole just finds a way to grab a few boards and score. I don't know how Conti got matched up on Anya Poole. Wake Forest does not want that matchup, Jen, I promise you. Conti at 5'10", maybe, and then Anya Poole at 6'2".
Yeah, Poole getting close to a double-double. 8 points, 9 boards in the game.
She has played really well. She's been guarding Ratza some in this game. I've been impressed with her defensively.
Conti's been aggressive at times too, going to the basket as she did just there.
Conti has kept Wake in this game, and sometimes when you have dynamic duos like Ratza and Conti, you have to count on one while the other one struggles, and Conti has stepped up to the plate tonight.
Nine points in the game for Gina Conti. She averages 17.8. Spear. Deeks still cold from downtown. We're 0 for 10 in the first half, and Ratza there commits the foul as Olashinska drives to the basket.
As you mentioned, Jen, Wake really struggling from 3, and this is a 5-point swing. You miss a shot there, really a 6-point swing because it was a 3-point attempt, and Holashinska comes the other way. Beautiful finish, great finish with the kind of the left hand, kind of the right hand. Not really sure which hand she used, but point is she put the ball in the bucket, and that's a big swing. You go from a missed 3 to a possible 3-point play. Really impressive stuff there from Holashinska in transition. That's an announcer jinx right there, too. That's a possible 3-point play.
Can't quite get it done, so the lead 4 for North Carolina. Conti back to Ratza. There's a triple for the Demon Deacons. Their first. Ratza's second bucket of the game.
Playing Ratza a little more outside of the paint. First three of the night for Wake Forest, and the Deeks within one.
Bailey. Polashinska. Good going to the basket.
Polashinska showing us what she can do inside the arc. Jen having a great game, attacking the basket. All 8 of her points have come from inside the arc. It's very rare that you see that with a player like her who's so prolific from three. Three blue jerseys all around Ratza right there, even at the high post. That wasn't even on the block.
6 on the shot clock. Ratza, there she is, surrounded, splits them.
Boy, we've seen that, I don't know, 4 or 5 times tonight where she has tried to get a shot up and has just not been able to, even with her length.
That was a lot of contact for a no call inside.
3-point game. North Carolina is still on top just barely as we take a break in quarter 3.
4 teams, 2 semifinals. New Year's Day, the College Football Playoff lives on ESPN.
You'll notice some special attire throughout the season for Courtney Banghart and her staff. And this is all a part of their Community Voices, Bigger Than Basketball, Educate and Activate, where the team has picked causes that are important to them that they want to focus on. This week, it is literacy, and the team had some Zoom sessions where they were reading to kindergartners. They always pick a player for each of these causes that sort of spearheads the whole project, explains it to the rest of the group. It was Stephanie Watts this week talking about literacy. It's a really great initiative that the Tar Heels have going on this season.
No doubt about it, Jen. My favorite part is what you mentioned there with Watts, that each player has a topic and it's their job to educate the team on that topic. I think that's a very cool way to go about doing this that Coach Banghart has instituted.
Neve Brown, no call there. Scruggs somehow takes it back. It is a 1-point lead for North Carolina.
That's the toughness that Scruggs provides inside. She's going to do all the dirty work. She grabs that rebound, gets an easy 2, maybe Wake's easiest 2 of the game.
I think that is Anya Poole who is down for North Carolina after that play.
I didn't see the injury happen, Jen, but it maybe could be a win got knocked out of you situation just by the way she's leaning over. We saw that happen with Ratza earlier in the game.
Yeah, and Poole has been really impressive so far in this contest for North Carolina. She's a rebound away now from a double-double, 10 points, 9 rebounds in the game.
Take another look at it.
She's 31 there, going for the rebound.
Ooh, a shoulder, perhaps. A hit to the ear is what we're being told. Oh, there are a few places you don't want to be hit. The nose comes to mind. You never want to get hit in the nose, Jen, but the ear, that sounds painful. We hope she's okay.
Yeah, for sure. And Poole and Polashinska have all of the Tar Heels' second half points so far, clinging to a 1-point lead. Wake with a chance to take the lead on this possession.
Wake has just hung around. It really feels like North Carolina has played well enough to have a bigger lead, but credit Wake. They have scored just enough to stay in this game, and they have been staunch on the defensive end. And there's Gina Conti, who has created offense for them all night when they haven't been able to get much going in the half court. Gina Conti always finds her way back to the free throw line.
The Demon Deacons have done well, 7 of 8 from the free throw line tonight. Conti will add one more there. Every Saturday morning, tune into The Huddle with Jordan Cornette, Eric McLean, EJ Manuel, and Mark Rick. They'll get you ready for some ACC football, preview the slate of games, keep you updated on all you need to know. That's Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Couple of free throws, swing the Demon Deacons back out in front. First time they've led since the scoreboard read 5-4 early in this one.
Huge momentum shift right now. This third quarter has been all Deeks, and you can see that confidence and that momentum in the way they're playing defense right now.
And there's a lid on the rim from three-point range, really for both teams. North Carolina is 1 of 12. Wake Forest is 1 of 15. They're gonna have to get the points some other way.
2 for 27 combined.
Yikes.
I feel like we should focus on attacking the basket, getting some mid-range, trying to get the free throw line, because the threes just aren't falling tonight at Winston-Salem.
And work the glass. That could get you some points too. Mora knows that. She has 8.
Christina Mora continuing to provide toughness inside, and Wake Forest still down in the rebounding margin, but in the third quarter, they have been excellent on the glass.
Bailey calling for it. Now, we said it a little prematurely before, but this one, if it is indeed on Mora, and it is, that is her third personal.
If you're Mora in that situation, I think you just have to kind of let that play go. Janelle Bailey was going to score anyway, knowing that you have 2 fouls. I think you want to pick up your third in that situation. But one thing I've noticed with North Carolina, it feels like at times they play so quickly, even in the half court, that they're not settling down to give Janelle Bailey a look. And of course now Janelle Bailey went out for a breather, but they have to find a way to slow down a little bit to give their best player inside a look. And that was an excellent baseline out of bounds action to get a very good look inside there for North Carolina. It was just a good execution on the baseline out of bounds.
Chitenge at the line now. Misses her first, and if you were familiar with Malou's story last year, she was a member of the all-freshman team for the Tar Heels. You might have heard of her uncle, Dikembe Mutombo, Hall of Famer. There's some good basketball bloodlines in her family.
No doubt. He's kind of a big deal, Jen. Those are good bloodlines.
Boy, Scruggs has been active. Couldn't get that one to go through the hoop, but then commits the foul after the fact as Kelly tried to track it down for North Carolina. And that
Tough 1-2 punch there for Scruggs. Missed the layup and commit the foul in the backcourt. That was not a necessary foul for the Deeks, and now the Tar Heels should be shooting free throws.
Not only that, but that's the third personal for Scruggs now. So she and Mora both potentially in some foul trouble.
When you have a lead, Jen, and you fought back in a game, the last thing you want to do, especially in the women's game, where you get to the bonus quicker in these quarter formats, so just 5 fouls gets the other team in the bonus. The last thing you want to do for a team like UNC that has been fairly cold in this third quarter is to put them on the free throw line. They've only scored 9 points in this 10-minute period, but you do not want to put them on the free throw line and give them 3 points.
Yeah, and both of these teams, through their non-conference slate of games, have been amongst the best in the country at both getting to the line and making it from the line. They've earned a lot of points that way, and that had not been the case tonight so far for North Carolina. They're just 5 of 7 from the free throw line. 2 on the shot clock for Conti. He had to take it. Shot clock violation. Good defense by North Carolina.
Great defense by UNC there. And to your point about Wake, they were coming in this game, they were averaging 21 made free throws per game. That is ridiculous. That is not something that just happens. That's a concerted effort to get to the free throw line. And one of Jen Hoover's philosophies is to make more free throws than the other team shoots. I love that philosophy. That's such a great way of trying to dominate the game there. And there's Rasa with the steal. Oh, Jen, the missed layup. You can't have that in that situation.
Yeah, it looked like she had earned herself a couple points. Instead, it's nothing in the other way for North Carolina.
Wake needs every point they can get. Rasa knows it. You see the frustration there. One thing I love about Rasa, there's a lot of things, because she's an exceptional player. She plays with so much passion. I don't think she really doesn't do a bad job of letting it affect her game. You see some players that will play with that passion and sometimes get too emotional. For the most part, I think she keeps her emotions in check.
Good positioning that time by the Demon Deacons, and they draw the foul against North Carolina.
To that point, though, with Wake's free throws, they've only shot 10 free throws tonight. They're 9 for 10. They're an excellent free throw shooting team, shooting 81% on the season. They've got to find a way to get to the line more. They're so good from the charity stripe.
Conti wants to go back to Ratza. As a freshman Espianer defensively. No luck for Spear. North Carolina ball.
That's an excellent pass from Ratza. You see, and we've talked about it all game, how UNC is just zeroing in on Ratza whenever she gets the ball. And so they're forcing other players around her to make plays. In that situation, Jules Spear, a true freshman, has a good look but can't convert. And that's been UNC's plan, make other people beat us.
Olashinska, meanwhile, continues her strong play.
From inside
She's now
the
in
arc.
double digits, yeah. 10
Relatively
points, none
shocking.
of them coming from 3.
I love when someone who's seen as a specialist proves people wrong and does something that they're not supposed to do. I love seeing that out of Holashinska's game tonight.
Conti will
Good
pass
pass.
it off to Brown. North Carolina, chance for the last shot. Kennedy Todd Williams had it blocked. Brown got back and said,
What a block from Neve Brown on the much bigger Todd Williams. Todd Williams tried to get a little fancy with this, Jim, with the one hand. You see she cradles it with the one hand. And Neve Brown says, not today. Talk about Dikembe Mutombo, not in my house.
Todd Williams travels, so with 1.1 seconds left in quarter number 3, Wake Forest will get it.
Not much of a heat with that little time.
I mean, I appreciate the effort there from Conti, but her team will head into the 4th quarter down 2 against North Carolina. ACC opener for both teams from Winston-Salem. The regular season meeting between these two teams last season went to overtime, down 3, 17 seconds left in regulation. Conti's layup pulled the Deacs within 1. A couple of North Carolina free throws had them back up 3 until this moment. 9 seconds left. Conti's only three-pointer of the game. That sent it to overtime, where Wake Forest would eventually pull out the 82-79 win. Talk about clutch.
Talk about clutch with Gina Conti. And look at her tonight, 11 points, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. She has kept Wake in the game. That was a huge win for Wake's program last year in that overtime dub over North Carolina. And then they got another win over the heels in the ACC tournament. So we talked about that revenge factor for North Carolina heading into this game.
Drive to the basket again is good for Holashinska.
She's trying to change that scouting report. It's no longer going to say three-point shooter. It's going to say you got to respect the drive. I've been very impressed with how she's put the ball on the deck tonight.
7-0 run. This led to now a 4-point Tar Heel lead. 17 points in the 3rd quarter for Wake Forest, just 2 less than they scored in the first half. The first 2 quarters combined, so a much better offensive output for the Demon Deacons. Kelly, still no.
That would have been a big 3 for North Carolina. The best time to get a good look from 3 is in transition. That was a wide open look for Deja Kelly. It feels like UNC is a couple threes away from putting this game somewhat out of reach, but same with the Deacs. Whichever team can shoot the 3 decently well, Jen, that's all I'm asking for. Decently well in this 4th quarter, I think has the upper hand.
Foul on the floor. Looks like it may go against Chitenge.
Wake Forest very fortunate those fouls reset, and we have this new, I guess it's not really new anymore, but our quarter format, because if they didn't reset, Wake would be in a little trouble now. And there's Ratza getting it going in the mid-range, even through contact. It feels like every time Ratza scored tonight, it's been through contact, and that's credit to that UNC defense.
Yeah, nothing easy coming for Ratza, and she picks up tic-tac foul right there. That's her 2nd personal.
Take another look at this Ratza basket. One dribble, pull up. That is a foul. And Ratza does not get any calls tonight. I think she's a little baffled by it. She's looking for some, but she kind of got clobbered. Still made that jumper, Jen.
Had to work for those two, that's for sure. Just nearly turn it over, managed to hang on. Holoshinska, no.
A rare miss from 2 for Holoshinska.
Conti can really push it. Pushed it a little too much that time. Offensive foul.
Conti just out of control in transition, and Usby, excellent job setting her feet, taking the charge, making sure she was outside of the restricted area. Conti trying to argue a little bit there, saying that she got shoved before the charge call, but even when a player is set, one thing that officials will always call a charge on, or at least most of the time, is when a guard is out of control in transition. If you pair that with a defender that is set, it's going to be a charge call, probably 10 out of 10.
Usby.
Good decision. No need to force anything here for North Carolina. They've got to get a good shot.
Shot clock under 5. Holoshinska has really been the go-to player for North Carolina tonight. She has 12.
She has, and she is UNC's leading scorer at this time. I know you mentioned earlier, it's early on, some of these numbers won't hold, and you're definitely right, but for all the great players on this UNC roster, Holoshinska has been their leading scorer.
How about Scruggs in the spin move to tie it at 40?
Scruggs has made big baskets for the Deacs throughout this game tonight. Just come up at big times.
Poole back in the game, back in the scoreboard as well. She is a dozen.
How about Anya Poole? 12 points, 9 boards for the true freshman. Has done a great job of helping to guard Ratza tonight. I've been impressed by her effort.
Scruggs, all 8 of her points in the second half.
Ooh, ankles there, Jen.
Conti trying to finish it off with a 3, does.
We need to cut that highlight, guys. Conti breaking some ankles and then getting the ball back and knocking down a 3. What a play.
Kelly trying to answer, cannot.
Conti wants some more.
Going to the basket, give her 2.
Conti is taking over this basketball game. Those last 2 possessions, highlight reel plays. Conti knows that her duo, her mate and Ratza has struggled to score, so Conti has taken over, and she's got the Deacs up.
Conference play is here, and we have a women's basketball triple header coming your way on Sunday on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Will start in Pittsburgh for the Panthers hosting Clemson at noon. Then 4th-ranked NC State takes on Boston College up at the Connie Forum in Chestnut Hill, and we'll cap the afternoon with North Carolina and number 2 Louisville. Cardinals matching the highest ranking ever in program history, moving up to number 2 this week. Pittsburgh right now in a tight one with Virginia Tech as they both open conference play tonight as well. They're tied in the 4th quarter. We've got Syracuse and Miami coming up after this one. Beth Mowins, Debbie Antonelli on the call. Get a chance to see the Syracuse Orange, the 3rd-ranked team in the ACC, along with Louisville and NC State.
Lots of close games tonight, Jen, and it very much feels like this one is going to come down to the wire. Both teams applying 3-quarter court pressure on the other, so turnovers, you don't want to see any of those in these last 5 minutes if you're Wake or North Carolina. Got to take care of the ball. There's Ratza getting it done.
What was that? That was an open look for Ratza that she earned herself. They've been few and far between.
Well done, Jen. That's an excellent point. That's probably the easiest bucket of the day for Ratza.
Holoshinska's been big. Bailey coming up when her team needs her. Gets a big 2. She has 6 in the game. Those are her first points of the second half.
It is a shame that Janelle Bailey only has 7 field goal attempts in this game. And credit Wake for what they've done defensively, but she cannot be stopped when she gets the ball in that kind of position inside.
We talk about teams reading their scouting reports, right? Who you want to try to take away? If Wake was trying to take away Bailey, they've done a good job. North Carolina trying to take away Ratza. She was scoreless in the first half. She started to come alive a little more now with 9.
Janelle Bailey getting it done. I'm sorry, that's Anya Poole, excuse me, getting it done on the defensive end. The freshman who we mentioned earlier has had a great night.
Watch out. Ratza starting to feel it. That was a long 2. 13-4 run by the Demon Deacons, who got the best of the Tar Heels both in the regular season and in the ACC tournament last year.
Ratza coming alive at just the right time for Wake Forest. Yes, they do. I think that's part of this, Jen, right? I mean, Wake has that confidence. They've won 2 straight against North Carolina. They swept them last year. We know the series is very lopsided in North Carolina's favor, but that does not impact these Demon Deacons.
And that right there may be the only thing that's slowing Gina Conti down tonight, the offensive foul. That's her 3rd personal. I mean, she has been so big, scored or assisted on all but maybe 4 of Wake Forest's 4th quarter points.
UNC's done a good job. Anytime Conti's tried to get downhill, they've done an excellent job of taking charges on her. Good decision here for Wake. Slow it down a little bit. This game's been very up and down since the timeout. We've got a 5-point lead. Run some clock and find a way to get Ratza or Conti a good shot.
Those 2, the highest scoring duo in the league right now by average, as Scruggs takes it to the hole. She is fouled.
Scruggs rolling through the paint like a bowling ball. Just physical inside, and take a look here. Holoshinska clearly in the restricted area. I think it was a block regardless, honestly, but Scruggs doing a good job of drawing contact.
So Scruggs on the line. She is 8 of 13 on the season from the free throw line. Sophomore out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, hits her first. She too has some NBA bloodlines. Her uncle John Bagley, former NBA player.
Rare miss from the free throw line for the Demon Deacons.
Watts.
It is not Stephanie Watts' night to miss a layup like that. Point blank, that's tough.
Yeah, she's been quiet. Averages just under 12, Kelly, but has only 2 tonight. And in North Carolina's last game against Charlotte, she was clutch down the stretch for them. Was 5 of 6 down the free throw line to give the Tar Heels a win in a close game. Wonder if we'll start seeing her with the ball a little bit more.
You're exactly right. She was excellent for the Tar Heels against Charlotte. She was a calming voice for them when that game was close. But in this game, it's really been Holoshinska and Bailey who they have to continue to feed inside.
Ratza committing the foul. That is her 3rd as she's trying to defend Bailey in the post.
Bailey is a tough matchup for anyone. Ratza and Bailey, similar height. Of course, Bailey a little more strength inside, and that's something Ratza has worked on, getting stronger so she can guard players like Bailey in the paint, but that is a tough assignment for anyone.
Reminder, more ACC women's basketball coming up next. The Orange on their way to Miami. That matchup coming your way at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on ACC Network and ESPN app. Tiana Manikahia, one of the greatest stories. I know you've said this, Kelly. I think we all have, talking about her. Breast cancer survivor, missed last season, back on the court, leading the ACC in assists. Where else would she be but at the top of the assist charts?
And she's coming up next. We can't wait to watch. What a move.
She has made
Oh, that's just pretty.
some tough shots in this game, Ratza. She has had to fight for every one of her 13 points. All of those in the second half.
And they've made some great adjustments with Ratza, getting her off the block, getting her more up near the top of the key. I thought that's what Jen Hoover would do, and she's done an excellent job. And credit Ratza, because Ratza has fought back. It's been a physical game, and she has fought back and scored. And look at these first half numbers versus her second half numbers. UNC was all over her in the first half, but 13 points, 6 of 9 from the field, and as you mentioned, Jen, none of those have been easy. And something to keep an eye on, too, with North Carolina. Their lowest point total under Courtney Banghart was 54 points last year against Duke, and we only have 45 at this point.
Now Wake with largest lead of the game right now. Mora, tough shot, but in.
Wake is going to work. Mora with the left hand.
Poole has been really consistent in the paint today for North Carolina. Bailey picks it up and puts it in.
North Carolina needed that bucket badly.
Timeout on the floor. We'll step aside as well. Good one going on at the Joel. Both of these teams trying to figure out how to come out of their ACC opener unscathed. Right now, Wake Forest in the driver's seat. They have taken control. North Carolina, you can hear Janelle Bailey saying, let's go.
North Carolina with full court pressure for the first time all game. That time Stephanie Watts just fell and Gina Conti blew right past her. Good decision, pull it out, run some clock. Wake has a significant lead here, up 7. You still want to get a good shot, but there's no need to rush anything.
North Carolina won the first 25 games in this series against Wake Forest. Complete dominance. But the Demon Deacons getting some big wins last year in overtime in the regular season, and they did it again in the ACC tournament, beating North Carolina twice. Now, a lot of these North Carolina players were not around for that, so they can come in with a clean slate, but Wake Forest players feel very confident, and they're playing like it here in the late stages of this one.
Wake remembers, that's for sure, Jen. And Wake, 8 of 11 from the field in this fourth quarter. We always say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And, of course, there's a turnover there. But Wake has been exceptional in the fourth.
Rusby, that's a big basket, much needed for North Carolina.
Gina Conti tried to take a charge there. That was an excellent no call by the officials. And Wake has to take care of the ball. UNC applying some pressure.
Conti wants the ball in her hands.
Excellent free throw shooter. Came into this game the best in the country. Was a perfect 21 of 21. Did have one miss earlier. Ratza. Well, that could have been a backbreaker.
That would have been a dagger. And Ratza knew it, too.
Bailey drives off the glass and in.
Good things happen when you get the ball to Janelle Bailey. And now we have a one-possession game. That's where you look back at that Ratza 3 and say, if she would have made it, it would have been a dagger. But was that the best shot we could have gotten on that possession? Because now, one possession game, Jim, with under 30 seconds to go.
Now Bailey with the last 7 points for North Carolina, and Ratza starting to come alive for the Deacs this second half.
So impressed with her resiliency. You know, there are very few players that can go 0 in the first half and then come back and bounce back and have a second half like this. But that's why she's one of the best players in the ACC. That's why she's on every watch list nationally for what she can do and how she can score. And it has been physical. UNC has tried to bully her a bit, and Ratza has been able to overcome it. 13 points tonight. Like we said, rough start, but bounce back. And then let's not forget the 12 rebounds.
Yeah.
Jen, 13 and 12. And that's what I love about Ratza, too. In the first half when her shots weren't falling, her effort never stopped. And she still was able to rebound the ball and stay in it and help her team.
Yeah, how about that for the double-double. Her career high in rebounds, by the way, 13, which she did in the last meeting in the ACC tournament against North Carolina.
Wake Forest, as we've mentioned, an excellent free throw shooting team. So as long as they don't turn it over, I think Coach Hoover feels good about how her team can shoot free throws down the stretch.
Wake Forest now will go to the line. North Carolina and Janelle Bailey committing the foul. That is Bailey's fourth.
If this game were to go to overtime, that fourth foul on Bailey could be questionable, but I'm not sure Courtney Banghart's thinking about that right now. I think she just wants to find a way to get back in this game.
What that did was not allow Conti to get the ball in her hands and to go to the free throw line. Instead, it'll be Mora, but Mora's been excellent as well.
And I like that call, too, because you don't want to run time off the clock. and that's what fouling early does for you there. But the issue with Wake is just as a team, they're such a good free throw shooting team, and it's in situations like this where free throws can win you games. And that's what Coach Hoover knows, and that's one of the things she really loves about this team.
Mora steady from the line, and Conti has just been the most consistent factor all night for Wake Forest.
When Ratza was struggling in the first half, it was all Conti. And she's been great in the second half too, but Gina Conti is a senior. I think she's really gotten the better of Deja Kelly in that point guard matchup. Again, Deja Kelly just a true freshman, but Gina Conti has a lot of experience. She plays with swag, she plays with confidence. She plays well in transition, makes good decisions, and she kept Wake in until Ratza found her footing. And then I feel like Ratza ended up helping Wake get this lead and was really the catalyst in the fourth quarter. But if Gina Conti did not keep Wake in the game, then Ratza would not have been able to do what she's done late in the contest for the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, Conti, 16 points, those 3 assists move her into a tie for 6th place all-time at Wake Forest in that category. And right now just trying to figure out how to hang on and win here. Wake Forest has not won 3 in a row in this series since the late 80s, early 90s. 1987 to 90 is when you have to go back to. A lot of big hair happening in those days when
Coach Jen Hoover was playing. That's how long ago.
It's true, and she had some hair. A miss from Watts. Time ticking away. North Carolina just trying to catch up to Wake Forest. Spear couldn't make the layup. Holoshinska has to hurry. 10 seconds now. Watts. That's a big 3 for North Carolina.
Wow, 5-point swing. You missed the layup. I know it was a tough contested layup, but missed the layup in transition. UNC comes back the other way, and Stephanie Watts finally hits a 3. So 5-point swing for the Tar Heels. This game is not over. Jules Spear, the freshman, the layup just rims in and out, and North Carolina does not stop playing. Stephanie Watts sets her feet. That's a long 3 right in front of her bench and knocks it down. As much as we thought maybe Wake could ice the game with free throws, this game is not over. North Carolina has not stopped playing.
North Carolina just 2 of 17 from 3. Watts is 1 of 4, but boy, that was a big one, pulling the Tar Heels within 2. It's a 9-2 run by North Carolina to keep this thing close.
And what's shocking is that North Carolina shoots 40% from 3. Well, not anymore after the stats tonight, but coming into the game, 40% from 3. So crazy that they're only 2 of 17.
Wake having some trouble getting it in, so they'll take another timeout.
Coach Hoover saved a lot of her timeouts. I believe she had 3 heading into the fourth quarter. And it's precisely for reasons like this, so you have options. And keep in mind, North Carolina does not have any timeouts left. So that's something that Coach Banghart, of course, will keep in mind here. But Wake Forest, I'm assuming North Carolina, their plan is go for the steal and maybe even track that first pass. But after that, you have to foul pretty quickly because there's only 7.6 seconds left. And you can try to be choosy with who you foul for the Deacs, but like I said, they're all pretty good free throw shooters as a team. They're very solid. Scruggs right now, only 62%. I believe she is the lowest, so maybe you foul Scruggs, but of course she is inbounding the ball. Coach Hoover, great move there.
It'll be Ratza who is fouled. So she'll go to the free throw line. Ratza, 74% free throw shooter coming into this game on the season.
You know you're a good free throw shooting team when you shoot 74% if you're Ratza and you're really nowhere near one of the better free throw shooters on the squad.
Yeah, they've been very good from the line. Have a chance to put this one away from the free throw line if they can. Still 6.9 seconds left. North Carolina trying to keep that unbeaten streak alive. They're 5-0 on the season, North Carolina. Conti and Ratza, that duo. Conti's been consistently there the whole game. Ratza's come on in the second half.
They have complemented each other well in this game tonight.
North Carolina down 3. Will have to hurry, get the shot. It'll be Ariel Young, and the buzzer will not go. So Wake Forest makes it 3 in a row over the University of North Carolina. They won both last year. It went down to the wire in this one, Kelly, but Wake hangs on.
UNC had a chance, and credit North Carolina for fighting back. Wake Forest was just excellent in the fourth quarter, but missed some shots down the stretch, and so UNC was able to fight back and had a shot to tie the game. But look at Wake Forest, third straight win over North Carolina. That is fairly unprecedented in this program. Hasn't happened in a very long time, and it's because of that dynamic duo, Ivana Ratza and Gina Conti, two of the best in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And Jen, I was really glad to see a third player get involved for the Deacs. I think that was a key with Christina Mora and her 12 points as well.
Wake Forest getting the win, 57-54 over North Carolina. More ACC women's basketball coming up, Syracuse and Miami. But for now, we're going to send you to the studio. Jordan Cornette, Dallin Cuff will take it away.